All right, we are excited this morning to have with us a special guest, a former alumni of the school, Zachary High School, who is now an entrepreneur, and he's going to be enlightening us this morning on how he went from being a high school senior, a graduate, into what he does now. This is Jalen Norwood. Jalen Norwood is a real estate uh, professional, so that is his major trade, but he's going to show you how he has also diversified himself.
Yes,
Jalen?
ma'am. All right. How y'all doing this morning? That's good. So, starting off, I went from Zachary from pre-K all the way to 12th grade. So I don't even know any other school. Um, and once I graduated, I was working at the city of Zachary. Anybody in here work at the city of Zachary? So what do you do at the city, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, yeah, I did that too. But they had me in sewer, so I wish I was doing that a little more. And what do you do, if you don't mind me asking? Okay, so yeah, and Naja, that's what she did. So yeah, pretty cool. It was fun. Paid more than everything else, I think. So, but okay, so that's what I did when I got out of high school. In high school, I worked at Winn Dixie for the most part. I was a cashier. And then I went to the city of Zachary. But while I was at the city of Zachary, once I graduated, I transferred to a different department. That was a third party that worked through the city of Zachary, and then we serviced generators and like uh, big sewer pumps and stuff. It was gross, disgusting. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend at all. But so I did that. But while I did that, even though we had to deal with a lot of disgusting stuff, it was a lot of leisure time. So it was a lot of just riding around in the truck, just making looking like we're doing something, so that citizens know that their tax dollars are put at work. So while I did that, I started taking my real estate pre-licensing course. So before you get your real estate license, you have to take your 90-hour pre-licensing course. And lucky for me, I was able to take it online. Were you able to take it? Okay, yeah. So I was able to take it online while I was at work at the city. So while I was at work, if I got any leisure time, I just get on there, do my assessments, and I finish it up in like 3 days. If it's anything that has video, you can download an extension that speeds the video up. So I put all the videos on 10x, and then I like look the answers up on Quizlet, and well, that's how I got my real estate license. That's not. I'm not saying I did anything like that for school, but I'm just saying that to say that there's resources out there, and then what you're gonna learn on the test is not what it is in real life. So it's best to just get it done as fast as you can if that's something that you want to do. So I took that. Then after that, you got to take the state and national test. But it's one big test, just compiled of two parts. So I bought a book on Amazon. I stayed up like 24 hours studying. I was ready. I went to go take the test, and they were like, you need this paper." And my test was like at 8 o'clock in the morning. The place I had the paper didn't open till 9. So pretty much, I wasn't able to take the test that time. So after that, I took it again. I passed the national and I failed the state. Took it again, failed the state. But then I realized I just never had the right study material. So it's not like I didn't know the stuff. I just didn't have the right book that I needed. So I finally got the right book and I was able to pass and I had my real estate license. And I thought all the money was just gonna come. But that did not happen at all. So I found a brokerage. It was a guy. He sold houses to a lot of people in my family. So I got connected with him. He brought me to the Keller Williams that he works at, and I went there. Wasn't looking to sign, but I really liked the office that day, so I signed to him, and I was ready to sell some houses. I thought my phone was gonna ring, and nobody called, and it was hard to figure out how at 18 could I get grown tax filing adults that got to pick their kids up that have real world problems to buy a house. And it took me like exactly a year before I got my first house sale. So there was an agent out of New Orleans, but she was also like a vice president of a big hospital. So she didn't have time to do a lot of real estate. And then she lived down there. Her buyer was in Baton Rouge. So she called me and she was like, "Hey, I need some help. Can you work with this buyer?" And he ended up being a executive at a insurance company. So his price point was like 700 to $1 million. So that was crazy. Like one of my first real estate experiences being in houses that big and just soaking it in. Like wow, like I get to go look at these things every day that everybody don't get to see. And so we ended up finding a house. It was 749,000. I didn't get the whole pie. I got a piece of the pie, but being a sophomore in college, that was a nice piece of pie. Yeah. And so that was my first sale. And then I did like a couple rentals here and there after that. And then I didn't get like my first like big sale by myself until about a year after that. And okay, so when you sell a rental, it's kind of like the same process of working with a buyer. So I still got to show houses, we still got to negotiate and all that kind of stuff. But if you work with a buyer, you'll get a few $1,000s. You work with a renter, you might get a few $100s. So it was just something I did to make money, but it was something I kind of stayed away from if I could. Um, so I did a few rentals. I got my first house sale, and then it kind of happened and happened and happened and happened. But the big thing that helped me a lot was just documenting my entire journey. Oh, I'm sick, so I'm sorry for the voice cracks. But documenting my entire journey, putting on social media, showing people I'm working, showing people I'm doing this open house. Do y'all know what an open house is? Okay. And door knocking and all that kind of stuff. So it's a grind. I've done a lot of cold calls, found people for sale by owner. So a lot of real estate agents like to target for sale by owners because it's people that's selling their house, but they don't want to use a real estate agent to sell it because they want to keep more money. They don't want to pay an agent. But a lot of the times they don't know the legalities, the paperwork, the processes. They don't know any of that. And so a lot of times, you step in to help them out and get their house sold. But some people don't want to talk and they'll curse you out. I've been cursed out plenty of times. Um, Door knocking, I done had a gun, not pulled on me, but I knocked on the door. A lady came to the door. Me and her talked for a while, but her husband had just got home. So I guess he was transporting his weapon from the car to the house, and he saw me. He was like, "Oh," and he kind of reached for it. And I'm like, "Oh," but he ended up being like a really nice guy. We talked for like 30 minutes. I even told him like, "Hey, like I got to keep door knocking. The sun about to go down." And he was like, "Oh, you trying to tell me I talk too much? I got one of these." And I thought that was funny, but yeah, it was a lot. So this year I made my fourth year in real estate, and it finally started picking up a lot to where I don't have to push out as much trying to get people to buy. They kind of know about me, and they reach out to me to be able to find a house. So that feels good. But I still try to push as much as I can to find more people so I can just make it grow as much as possible. Because one thing about being an entrepreneur, especially in real estate, your income is as much as you want it to be. So if you work a job that's $60,000 a year, most of you get is $60,000 a year unless you have bonuses and things like that. So I appreciate the hustle and bustle of being able to wake up and decide how much money I want to make on any given day. Um, so that's real estate. Um, while I was in college, I went to LSU. Do any of y'all plan on going to college? No? No? Yes? Which college you want to go to? Brand new? Oh, that'd be nice. That was like right across the street from my house. It's expensive though, so you gotta have money for Fran U. But okay, so what do you want to do?
Oh,
You want to go to Southern? Oh, so you do want to go to college? What do you want to do at Southern? Nursing? That's nice. What do you want to do? Computer science? Okay, okay. That you go anywhere. You cosmetology school? That's a great choice. You? Okay. Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Um. So yeah, that's awesome. Me personally, I didn't want to go to college, but one great thing about Zachary is that they force us to do a bunch of ACT stuff. Do y'all still have to do like, yeah, like I hated it, but it helped me in the long run because I was able to go to LSU. I didn't pay $1 for college. Like I got paid money every single semester. So that was the big reason why I even went. I almost went to Morehouse in Atlanta. Um, I got accepted. I visited a couple times. But if I went there, I would have to go $300,000 in debt because it's a private college versus going to LSU and getting money back. And then I also contemplated Southern, but when I weighted apples to apples, LSU was gonna pay me more money to go there, so I had to sell out, and I went. And then COVID hit once I was in college, so a lot of work was on the computer, so I was able to fast track. So I was able to get out of college in 3 years versus 4 years. Um, and it was tough too because I had my real estate license while I was in college. I had a taste of what it was like to sell a house. I'd be sitting in front of them exams like, Lord, no, I don't need this. I'll go sell a house. I haven't touched my degree. I don't know where it's at, but I have it in case real estate don't work, the world fall apart. I still have that degree where I can go do whatever I need to do if I need to do it. Oh, I went to school for marketing. So I felt like that was something I could do in any industry. Pretty much. That was exactly. And then most of the stuff I learned in college was stuff you could easily learn on YouTube, TikTok. Like it wasn't even nothing special. But the thing that I was able to get the most of was networking, opportunities, meet a lot of people, and they are going to be in their own industries. They're all going to want to buy houses one day. My professors might want to buy a house one day or invest, something like that. So it's really just a fallback option, but it also opened the doors for other stuff. So now if I tell somebody I'm an LSU Tiger, they're like, oh, okay, I might have this for you. I might do that. So I definitely am happy that I chose to go to college. Um, any questions about anything? You can ask me anything. Like it don't matter. Real estate related, not real estate related. Y'all want to hear about what I do with real estate? Okay. So as a real estate agent, I can help people buy houses, sell houses, invest in real estate, rent houses, or if you own a house, you want somebody to rent it out. Like that's pretty much on the parameters of what I could do. And so I mostly focus on first-time home buyers, and then when I really thought about it, specifically single moms, because they buy houses 32% more than anybody else, and it just kind of happened that way. Like I didn't force it, but your first-time home buyer, especially being younger, is the easiest because they're younger. They don't know anything about the process, so they're just looking for somebody to help educate them and get them in the right direction. So that's kind of my easiest barrier to entry is dealing with first-time home buyers. Investors are pretty cool to work with as well because usually they don't just want one; they want as many as they could get, however they could get it. So you might have one investor, and you might do 6 deals within a year with that one investor. So that's nice. I've listed houses. If somebody had a house they want to sell, they want to find a buyer for it, then that. Um, and the biggest thing that I do is just educate my clients on what happens throughout the process. If it's a buyer, take them to see things that they want to see. Excuse me, but also making sure I'm finding stuff that fits whatever their lifestyle is or whatever they like. Because I don't want to waste my time showing something that's too expensive and they fall in love with it. Then now it's time to show them stuff in their price point. Now they're kind of like, but I like the way that one looked. And so now these houses not hitting the same because they got exposed to something different. So it's making sure I'm not wasting their time or wasting my time with anything like that. Um, and knowing like how to type up a contract. Because once you find a house, they like it, you gotta send an offer on the house, and it's a big long 12-page document, and it's like real tedious. You gotta make sure you know all the verbiage, and it's checking every box of what needs to be done. And because one wrong line in a purchase agreement can mess up an entire deal, so you have to make sure you know exactly what you're doing with that. And then once somebody finds a house, they want to buy it. After that, they get the house inspected. So once you get under contract, that means you sent the offer on the house and the seller accepted the offer. Once you get under contract, you have an inspection period, which is usually a 10-day period, and you have to pay a deposit with the offer because the seller wants to know that you're serious. So the deposit is refundable. So once you send the offer, you send them like $500 with it, saying, "Hey, I'm gonna buy this house, and if I buy it, I own my $500 back. But if I don't buy this house, then you get the $500. And the reason they do that is because if you're trying to buy a house, nobody else can buy it. So they have to take their house off the market so that you can buy it. So they want to make sure that you're serious before they take the house off the market. Because the longer a house sit on the market, the less people are willing to pay for it. So you send your offer, you send your deposit, and then after that is inspection. So you have a 10-day inspection period. You can say, hey, I don't like the way the sun shine on this house. You can back out the deal and you can get your money back. But usually that period is for you to get an inspection, get outside opinions, things like that on the house, so that you know exactly what you're buying before you buy it. And then after that, you get the house appraised, because most buyers have to go through a bank in order to get the money. They usually just don't have cash to buy the house. So the bank says, hey, I want to make sure this house is worth what they say is worth before I give you money on the house. So you get an appraisal done on the house. So let's say the house $200,000. We want to make sure that the appraisal is $200,000 or more, because let's say the house is $200,000, but it appraised for $205,000. I mean, the person buying the house has $5,000 they can put in their pocket whenever they buy the house. So the appraisal is very important because you just want to make sure you're not overpaying for a house. And after appraisal, we'll have what's called a final walkthrough. And let's say in the inspection you found some stuff you didn't like. What you would do, you would tell the seller, hey, I want you to fix this wall, I want you to fix this floor, and I want that. And then the seller is either going to agree to it, they're going to give you money to fix it, or they're not going to do anything. So you negotiate that throughout the process. So after the appraisal, you have your final walkthrough, and this is where you're making sure the house is in the same condition or better than when the inspection took place. And then if everything goes good at the final walkthrough, that's where we usually pop bottles, we sign papers, take pictures, videos, all that kind of stuff. And they get their keys and they got a brand new house. And that's the real estate process start to finish. And if I'm selling a house, all I do is stick my sign in the yard, they send the offer, then they do the whole process. And all I gotta do is just wait till closing and like both. So it was tops. Then I went to an event, I got my name put out a hat, and that gave me like 750,000. I mean, no, not thousand, I'm sorry. $750 a semester. That was a small scholarship I got. But I also didn't stay on campus. I stayed off campus. So when you stay on campus, your tuition is at LSU $24,000 a year, and if you stay off campus, is $12,000 a year. So I just moved in with my grandfather, who doesn't live too far from LSU, and that's how I was able to make money every semester, because I always had overages with my tuition. So I own an Airbnb property management business, and that kind of started while I was in college. I was a senior, and around this time, Hurricane Ida happened, and a lot of people moved away and stayed in Airbnbs and stuff. And I was able to see how profitable it was. And I wanted to get into it, but being a college student, I didn't have no money to buy a house, rent a house, none of that. So the best way I could figure to get into it was find somebody that already have a house, and I just manage Airbnb for them. So that's how I started that company. And that company is called Well Air Management. And when I was starting it, I watched a million YouTube videos. I bought a book. I did all kind of stuff. And I hit a point to where I was like, I'm learning all this stuff, but I feel like it's not advancing me. So I was like, it's just time to go get experience. So I called everybody I knew that might have a property that want to do it. And it ended up working out. Somebody said, yes, I'll let you do it. And so that's how I got my first property. With Airbnb, we've had a lot of guests, a lot of crazy stuff happen. It was always fun. Um, by LSU. And so like game season is crazy booked. I haven't had any parties or anything like that. But I've had guests fight and break stuff. Is wild. Um, and so that business is pretty cool. And it also differentiated me as a real estate agent. So that was part of the move as well. So now I don't know any other real estate agents that really do Airbnb like that or are attached to it. So now that helps people see me in a different light, because I mean, I'm sure everybody in here probably know somebody that have a real estate license. So that was a big thing. And then as of recently, I just became part owner of a construction company. So I have a confession, I'm addicted to golf. I golf like 6 days a week. Like it's bad. Like I can't not golf. And so with that, I was able to make some deals on the golf course. But I also met a guy. The guy that's teaching me golf, he owns a construction company. But he's like 50. He kind of got lazy a little bit, just chilling. He got a bunch of money, so he don't have to do too much. So I started putting him in with different people. He was like, you know what? I want you to be a part of this because I know you're gonna help this business grow. So he made me a part owner. I don't know too much about construction. I just know if a job needs to be done, who to point them to, and then that's how I get my cut. So altogether, I'm a real estate agent. I have the Airbnb property management company, and I'm also part owner of a construction company. And the one thing that helps ties all that together is social media. So that's one thing I do a lot. I try to post every open house I do. I try to post as much information as I can. Every closing that I have, like 1 month, January last year, I did 3 videos a day, every single day on TikTok. That was like 93 videos. If January have 31 days, so that was crazy. It'd be times where it's like 11:50. About to put my head on the pillow. I'm like, dang, I got to make a video today. So I got to hurry up and look like a zombie in front of the camera. Um, and what I learned out of that was it really is quality over quantity. So my videos that I either take my time with, I know are a little bit better, will perform better than if I just post a bunch of videos just to post them. And it also helped me craft the video a lot better. Now I can take my time with it instead of focus on trying to get a bunch out in a short amount of time. Um, but yeah, the social media has opened up a lot of doors for me. I'm plugged in with people at Gordon, ESPN. I got a lot of friends as influencers now, and they're connected with a lot of people. So social media has opened the door a lot. I've gotten a lot of house sales from um, social media. People want to book Airbnbs because they see it on social media. So it truly is a tool and a resource that can open a lot of doors. Y'all already know how to work it, so you might as well just maximize it, make some money from it. So yeah, that's
That's
pretty
what I'm
much
telling them. They watch, but they're not on the other
it. Yeah. I made 50 cents from Facebook one time. I felt like a millionaire. So
end.
that's a great question. So it was 4 years ago, so bear with me on the numbers. But my pre-licensing course is like $200. I'm gonna calculate this while we talk about it, so I can tell you how much it's gonna be. So $200 for the pre-licensing course, and the longer you extend it out, the more it costs. So I did mine as a 1 month class because that's like the shortest time frame you could do it. But I finished it in 3 days. But I had to buy a 1 month class. So that was $200. And then let's just say I spent $100 on like resources to study for my exam. So we had $300 now. So when I took the exam was $85. And then I also had to get an authentication form from the Louisiana Real Estate Commission, and that was another $90. And then what did I have to do after that? Oh yeah, so I had to pay the retake. Yeah, so that's the paper they told me that I didn't have, but they didn't open until after the exam had already began. Um, so we got that, no, 85 plus 90. But all y'all are super smart, so we're just gonna act like y'all gonna pass it the first time, because y'all will if y'all decide to take it. Um, then after that, I had to find a brokerage, and that's the place that's gonna house your license. So I think you have like 90 days after you get your license to find somewhere to house it. And once you find somewhere to house it, their brokerage has their own fees, and then you have to pay for the multiple listing service or MLS, and that's a place where you can see every house that's listed, every house that's sold, and that's your biggest tool as a real estate agent. That's the thing that makes a buyer need you versus them being able to find something on their own. And so I think signing on to a brokerage, getting access to that, and you also have to be a part of a board also. So like every area has their own board. So we have the Greater Baton Rouge Association of Realtors. New Orleans has the New Orleans Metro Association of Realtors, and they got all those. So then you have to be a part of that too. So I think all that together came out to be 1,200. With that, it was plus 1,200. Then after that, you got to pay for headshots. You got to make sure you got good clothes. You got to make sure you have your signs. You have to make sure you got car insurance, gas, because you got to go places. So I'm gonna just account like another $300 for startup fees. Yeah. So we had 1975. So to get started in real estate, that's about what you could expect to spend. Um, yeah, I mean you can make it back. Yeah, I did. I did. And I done had some crazy, 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 crazy commissions. My most expensive one was like 13,000 for a house, and it's like, what do you even do with that? And then I had like three closings in 3 weeks whenever that happened. So I had one I was like 10, one I was like 13, another one I was like 6. So I was like, yeah, that was. I was broken after that point. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing anything else ever. So but I've also done rentals that pay like $50. So it's kind of like it all evens out at the end. So I had one, and then I had three, and then I had four, and then I had one in Houston. But I have different pricing models for Airbnb. So I have one where I get paid, then I pay the homeowner at the end of the month. And I have another one where the homeowner gets paid, and then they pay me at the end of the month. And there's a lot of different structures within that, but that's to simplify it. Um, and with that, I found that it's better if they pay me and I pay the homeowner, because if they pay the homeowner first, that means the homeowner's in Airbnb, they're the host, they see everything. So after a few months, they kind of like, oh, well, now I know how to do it because I've been watching it this whole time. So I've gotten calls like, hey, I think my wife gonna run it, or man, like, thank you so much. Like, I'm gonna just take over from here. And so I kind of learned like, a magician never shows his tricks. So it's best to just keep it all in house so that it, nobody feels like they learn too much and they don't need you anymore. Um, And with my Airbnb business, a big thing is automation. So all my messages are automated unless a guest needs something special. So check in, they're getting messages. Once they get settled, they're getting a message right before checkout. Checkout is all messaging, so I don't have to keep messaging them every single time. And especially when I had like four at one point, it'd be too hard to try to message everybody. My door codes, I have smart locks, so they change every single time. So, and that happens automatically. My cleaner gets notified, so I don't have to text her like, "Hey, can you come clean every time?" So it's made me lazy because I don't have to do too much with the business because the business just runs itself. All the computers just make it happen. So that's that business. Okay. So the question was, what advice do I have to somebody getting started in real estate that have no connections that's trying to get hired by a broker? Remember, the brokers need you more than you need them. The way brokerages make money is by agents selling houses. So anywhere that you can sell a house, they're gonna want you. Certain brokerages have different structures, or one might focus on only luxury listings, some might only focus on foreclosures. So it just kind of depends on where you want to go and what you see for yourself. But always remember that they need you more than you need them. Um, so it's kind of just go wherever you feel comfortable at, and then interview them because like you're the boss. Like you're a business owner. You're self-employed. Like so you interview them and you see who you feel best with, and then that's the route you should take. And then also as a new agent, I advise joining a team as well. So within real estate, you have an individual agent and you have agents that's on the team. So individual agent, just what it sounds like, you do everything on your own. Once you're on a team, a lot of times you have an assistant. You have a rainmaker, which means it's somebody that's done a lot in real estate, and they have too much business to where they can't keep up with it, so they gotta get other people to help them. And that's a good way to get in front of people, to make money, and to learn everything um, without having to like make your own mistakes all the time. You could shortcut by the rainmaker. They could tell you like, hey, do it like this. Here's a buyer, go help them. You can shadow them in different scenarios. So a team is a great thing for a new agent. In my experience, I didn't join a team whenever I first started. I had a mentor. He showed me everything, and he started the team later. Which, in my situation, I was already 3.5 years in once I joined the team. So I kind of felt like, why am I giving you all this money if I already know how to do all this? So that's kind of why I was on the team, and then I'm not on the team anymore. But I also learned a lot while I was on the team. I learned how to structure and how to run a true real estate business, because that's what it is at the end of the day. You're running a business, and you just happen to be the employee and the owner of the business at the same time. Was that good advice? No? Oh, okay, okay. um, I'm trying to think. Um, I've done Live After Five. Do y'all know what that is? Yeah. So it's like this thing downtown. A lot of older people go to it. Older than us, not old, but older than us. Oh, I'm older than y'all, so that's. But I go there, and one time I made a TikTok there, showing my experience, and everybody was like, "Oh, how do I get there?" And I was able to get some VIP tickets that somebody hooked me up with. So then the next time I went, Live After Five saw the video, and they were like, "Hey, we want to give you a bunch of VIP tickets." So what I did was I did a giveaway where if you like follow me, did this, and gave me your information, and somebody that's looking to buy a house, then you'll get the tickets. So a bunch of people gave me a bunch of stuff, and then the winners, I was like, "Hey, I got these tickets for you," and they were like, "Oh, well, actually, I'm not gonna be able to make it." So now I got all these people I could reach out to, and I still had tickets. So once I got there, I was like, what am I gonna do? So I made a video where I would ask people questions about real estate, and then if they got them right, then they got the VIP tickets, and that kind of helped my business too. I try to make it fun so it's not boring all the time. You're not just sitting in front of a computer, cold calling people, getting cursed out. I try to be in the mix, and like events is where you really meet a lot of people. So I know if it's a little kickback over here, there's a little thing over there, I'm gonna go. I'm not really an outside person, but I'll be outside trying to get sales. So. So I recently just joined Zillow, and it's been great. I got one deal under contract from it now, and I've only had it like a month. And you got to be careful because people will call, try to waste your time. Excuse me. So it's good to kind of ask some questions on the front end to see how serious they are. But I definitely recommend it. And then Zillow is very expensive, so like you buy it by area codes. So I mean zip codes. So one zip code 70806. For 2 calls a month, it costs like $700 to $800. So you're paying $700 to get 2 calls a month that might not ever turn into anything. But I found a zip code that was $55 a month, and I get 7 calls. So I was able to kind of, I gotta call my people and remove. I got you. That's the one I have. It's either that or 70711. It's either 1 4 or 11. Or 70811 one. It's like Brownsfield, that Brownsfield Baker. But oh yeah, and then it's like there's a bunch of agents in there too. Um and I don't even think they open right now. Zachary, like there's a waiting list. Yeah. So that's the big thing is just invest in your business. And the biggest thing that you can invest is time. Um, and for me, when I first started, I wanted to do a million things. I wanted to be a real estate agent. I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. And I thought I could do it all, but when I really sat and realized that I was putting a bunch of eggs in baskets that weren't doing anything. So I was like, it's hard, but I got to kill all these dreams, and this is what I'm gonna do. and then I was able to add stuff on top of it later versus trying to do a bunch at first. You get one thing that's gonna fund everything, and then you can start adding to it. Um, and that helped me a lot.
Ready to go? That real estate.
They got a lot of nursery realtors that's out there. I'm serious. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. It's funny. I'll be getting spotted in public. It'd be weird. Um, but yeah, TikTok it helped a lot.